All right, guys, break time is over. Back to work. We got one more day left this week. Let's get ready to make some money on Friday. We have a big day coming tomorrow. We got some more inflation numbers coming out tomorrow. We got a bunch of ranges on the charts. You know me, I love range-bound markets, and man, I have some great trades I'm tracking for Friday. I'm getting kind of excited just talking about it, thinking about it right now. I'm gonna go with my favorite trades in the video tonight that we have a game plan to make some money on Friday morning. Before we jump in though and get our party going tonight, make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you don't miss tomorrow night's video. And if you like these videos, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this stuff, hit that like button for me. Give me a shout out. Give me a holler down in the comments section. Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel. But let's get ready for Friday. Got a lot of great trades we're tracking for Friday. Now, starting off on the 60-minute charts, the 1-hour charts here. I got the S&P and the SPY, the Nasdaq, and the QQQs. I like to use the 60-minute charts to help me plan my trades for the following day. And then later on in the video, I'm going to drill down to some tick charts, some faster time frames. We're going to use those tick charts to put together the entry, right, to find the best entry timing for tomorrow. We're going to cover all the details in this video here tonight. Boy, what's the deal on the 60-minute chart right now? Well, you can see right now, we're pretty obviously bearish across the board. We have kind of this lazy bear channel on both the S&P SPY and the Nasdaq and the QQQs. These give us a pretty easy game plan tomorrow, right? You'll notice the market kind of ping-ponging back and forth between the two. We're looking to buy low, looking to sell high, buy low, sell high, trade that rotation back and forth. When I look at a chart like this, the first thing that comes to mind is traps, right? Bear traps off the low, bull traps off the high, back and forth, buying low, selling high. Should be a pretty straightforward game plan for tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about why I think traps are probably going to be where the easy money, maybe some of the best winning trades we've had all week. We're going to go over it in a lot more detail here in a moment. Now, before we jump in though and get our hands dirty on those tick charts and talk about how to actually make some money off those traps tomorrow, there's a couple of things I want to make you aware of tomorrow on the schedule. There are 3 things that you want to be aware of tomorrow. First of all, the PPI number coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. Think of this as the cousin, the little brother of the CPI number, right? The producer price index coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. Probably not going to be as volatile in the wake of that as we saw today on the CPI, but it's definitely going to be a catalyst I'll be watching for tomorrow. The second thing you want to keep in mind tomorrow is tomorrow's a Friday. Fridays tend to get a bit lower volume after lunch. And so my mindset on a Friday is always pretty simple. I try to get into trades as early as I can on a Friday morning. And I always try to leave a position open as a runner into lunch, into Friday afternoon. If you've been watching my videos or trading along with us the last few months, you know that Fridays, they love to run. So early in, leave a small piece, leave a few contracts open into the afternoon, just in case we might get lucky, a bit of an afternoon run on Friday afternoon. And the third thing I want you to be aware of is there'll be no video newsletters next week. I'll be working on some brand new video course updates. I have some really exciting stuff being released later on in the month to all of our students here at School of Trade. So no video newsletter in the afternoons next week. Remember, early in, leave a runner tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Friday. And again, PPI number coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. And don't you worry, if you're a student of mine, I got you covered next week. We're all good on that, right? So make sure you come out and join us in the trade room. Let's get back to our charts though. Back to our charts because of course the money is made on the charts. Now, let's go over all my favorite setups. Let's drill down now to our tick charts. Let's start first on the S&P and the SPY, and we'll wrap things up here tonight on the Nasdaq and the QQQs. Now, as I mentioned earlier, right, we kind of have both the S&P and Nasdaq are very, very similar right now. We're bearish. We're rolling lower in this channel. And basically buying low and selling high, right, off the top of this channel. That's the name of the game. And kind of trading that rotation as we rotate back and forth. We'll also talk about if things break down tomorrow and if this channel does get a breakout as well. Let's go talk about the tick chart now. Because, of course, the tick chart, everything's easier in my experience. Everything's easier on a tick chart to find entries. The charts are so much easier to read. This is an 8,000 tick chart in the upper left-hand corner. And by the way, if you're watching for the first time right now, this yellow line, that is the 21 EMA. All the default settings, 21 EMA. What's the most important factor right now on the tick chart? Well, we have that big bear channel on the 60-minute, but really for the most part right now, we're looking at kind of one big range, right? We're kind of one big trading range. Now, I know a lot of you guys have taken my free trading classes, right? And we talk a lot about range-bound markets and how ranges love to rotate back and forth, right? Well, look where we are right now. We're right down around the low of that trading range. So we anticipate now this market now will be looking to rotate, right, back up and take out those highs. Now, you know they're not going to make it that easy. I mean, maybe they will, right? But we want to make sure we're aware that we may see some fake out breakouts below the low. So I want to make sure you're ready to capitalize, because a fake out breakout really might be where we get the best entries, some best bear traps down there off of that low. But that's pretty much the general idea. That's kind of what the most important factor right now on this chart. You know, we're range bound. We're sitting at lots of support down here. We anticipate a rotation back higher. And again, in all reality, we may end up head faking and then getting that rotation. I think that might be one of the best trades for tomorrow. And we're going to talk more about that here as we go deeper into the video. Now, I mentioned before that I think traps are probably where the best money be made here for tomorrow. Let's kind of talk about this. In my video class, we talk about the markets are fractal, right? Which means we can look for minor setups and we can look for major setups. So there will probably be money to make with minor traps and major traps. Let me kind of show you what I mean here. So we're anticipating this rotation back higher, right? Take out these highs up here. As we're going higher, if we end up going higher first, again, later tonight we'll talk about that move going lower. But if we end up going higher here first, kind of the name of the game is that minor trap, right? That minor trap. So remember, the way traps are set up is a strong move, a shallow pullback that barely touches the moving average, 21 EMA, and a higher high in price. Think about this now, right, as being a minor trap. Okay, now again, watch how it looks. Strong move, shallow pullback, higher high in price, and what do we always say? Traps, baby, right? Yeah, traps, baby. Right below that moving average, right below that prior swing, that would be a minor trap, right? And again, I'm kind of drawing it up on the screen right now. Now, at this point, we're trying to finish off that rotation. Once we start getting up a little bit higher, we have to think that people who got in down here, they're probably taking some profit. And this is now we start looking for those major traps. Now we go out and draw the channels off the highs, right? We bring it down off that low, and we start looking for larger corrections and get underneath prior swings like that, right? See how that is also up, shallow pullback, higher high, and a trap low right there. So you want to be thinking about those minor traps on the way up, right? So minor traps, strong run up, right? Strong run up, shallow pullback, higher high in price. Get that, again, minor or micro trap, whatever you want to call it there, right? Strong run going higher. Oftentimes we'll pump up. We then draw off the highs. We mark off that low. We start thinking about those, right? Those prior swings. Now we have that larger pattern, right? That larger variation of that trap as well. Now, let's kind of dig into this a bit more here, because oftentimes that pullback, moving average comes over. Oftentimes that pullback will get underneath the moving average. And now in my free trading course, I talk about what I call the price action cycle and failure patterns, okay? When we get underneath that moving average, if we're rotating higher like this, what I can do is, if I can get the sellers to come in and get short off that moving average, right? If we pull back to the low of that channel and the bears come in and try to short this thing off that 21 EMA, what I can do is I can think about now where their stops are, okay, and use those stops as fuel, what we call a failure pattern, right? In the video course, in that free trading course, we talk about a failure into pullback combination, right? So we know where the market wants to go, right? It wants to take out those highs up there as it rotates off of that low. So again, think about this. It's, again, minor traps on the way up, right? Find those channels, look for those major traps. And again, this may not be a trap off the low, but more of a failure into pullback combination. Remember, I teach all this in that free trading course, which reminds me, if you haven't learned these setups yet, you really need to. If you're not making consistent money with this stuff right now, what I'll do is I'll put a link up here for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link and take that free trading course, because I'll tell you, the strategy you'll learn in that little video series, that free video series, will teach you a stupidly simple trick that we use every morning in our trade room to know exactly where the best trades are going to be that day. And I'll teach you my 4 favorite entry patterns, things like failures, pullback combinations. Obviously, traps are covered in that free trading course. It is perfect for someone trying to make the jump into full-time trading. If you're not getting the results you want right now, definitely grab that link, take that free course. You will love it. I get so much great feedback from you guys making money off the strategy that I teach in there. And also, 2 heads up too, I'll put all the important links you guys need down in the description of the video here tonight, just in case you can't get that pop-up there in the upper right-hand corner. So again, minor traps and major traps. Now, later on in the video, I want to talk about going lower, right? Because there's 2 very specific setups I'm going to be watching for if we go lower. One of them is a head fake bear trap, right? Back up into that trading range. But first, though, let's say, what if we end up all the way back at this high right now? We're at the top of this trading range, right? Beautiful spot to be a short seller potentially, right? But how do we sell off the high? How do we sell? I mean, after all, right, it's an overall bear market right now. You would think if we run all the way up, there's a lot of bears that would love to short this thing. What's the problem, though? The problem will be momentum, right? If we end up rolling all the way up, that's a lot of momentum. So this is, again, where traps are going to be your bread and butter for tomorrow. You can't see it very well on this 8,000 tick chart. On a faster time frame you can, but notice how they go up. They pull back, the buyers once, the buyers twice, and that trap right there, right? Let me zoom in on it for you right there, right? See, they roll up, right? Pull back. Come on, Joe, a little bit too thick there, right? They pull back, buyers once, go lower, buyers twice. See that bull trap right there? Okay, well, we call these crown reversals, right? It's pretty simple, right? We go up, buyers try to keep it going once, they pull back, they try to go it again, and bam, right? That is a bull trap, right? It's a lower low in price and a trap high above that high. So that is the name of the game. If we find ourselves all the way back up, right, around major resistance, it's a lot of bullish momentum, right? So we're not going to simply sell the top. Okay, my job is not to pick tops and bottoms, right? We're not in the business of picking tops and bottoms. But as we're going higher, right, we're looking for those minor or micro traps on the way up. And then as we find our way up into these highs here, now in come the buyers buying way late, right, in this move into major resistance. A lot of momentum. So give those buyers the benefit of the doubt. Let them try once to keep it going higher, right? Let them try twice. Now, again, look how this pattern sets up, right? It's a one try for the buyers. Remember, buyers want to buy low, okay? Buyers want to buy low. So they'll put, right, they'll load up right there. As we go lower, buyers will try again. They'll load up again, right? And now, think about this now, right? All the buyers who were in, all their stops now are just waiting to get hit. And we need those stops to turn this thing over because, again, we have all of that bullish momentum. Find that prior swing high, and then just like we talk about in that free trading course, you want to get that strong signal candle, right? That convincing close below that moving average, and that will give you, right, that, again, what we call, in this case, a bull trap or a crown reversal. This basically puts together our failure pattern and a bull trap, right, around, again, resistance. Obviously, this area, right, anywhere really up in this area is where I'm looking for, right, that pattern to go back down. And again, we should be looking for, as it rotates down, back and forth, right, back and forth. Now, remind me for a second, let's see if you're paying attention here. Remind me, as it goes lower, what do you think is the best entry pattern to sell short now? it's going to be a trap, right? I know you're probably sick and tired. Here's a drinking game for you guys tomorrow night at happy hour, right? As you're celebrating a great Friday. Every time I say trap tonight, right? Take one shot. I'm kidding with you. Well, maybe not. You can definitely decide for yourself. But like I said, I think that's where traps are going to be the best money makers here for tomorrow. As we're going lower, we're trying to rotate back and forth, right? So what do? In this case, we look for bull traps. Right, we look for bull traps, and again, think about those larger, right, minor, and right, kind of minor and major traps I mentioned as we go. But if we do get that bull trap, right, that buyer failure, that crown reversal off of that high, we then roll over as we roll lower. Right, remember, strong run down, shallow pullback, lower low in price. Right, remember, strong run down, shallow pullback, lower low in price. There's your bull trap right there, right? We're always looking for traps as we rotate, right, back and forth, okay? So again, buyer failure off the high. We rotate off of that high. We're going to go back down and take out those lows, looking for those bull traps as we go, all right? Traps on the way up, traps on the way down, traps on the way up, right? Traps on the way down, back and forth we go. Okay, so that's kind of the gist of what my game plan is as we go here. Let's now talk about a little bit more advanced tactic, all right? Let's kick this up a few more notches. You're going to notice right away, this could be a new range down here. You know, it would make perfect sense for a week like this. We've had basically this kind of lazy channel. It's pretty easy, right? Yeah, well, usually once things like this become really, really obvious, right? Usually that means we're due for a change tomorrow. So what if we go sideways here overnight? I want to think about a fake out breakout off that high, and I'm going to talk about if we end up flushing out this range because it's a Friday, it's a summertime Friday, we got PPI tomorrow. Let's kind of prepare for this now, and we'll go to the Nasdaq to do that. The Nasdaq is almost the exact same situation as the S&P. On the 60-minute chart right now, we're bearish. We're rolling lower, right? Same basic idea, rotation, back and forth, buy low, sell high, pretty simple. We'll go over to a tick chart, right? Tick chart, basic, same basic idea, right? Look left, and we basically have what is one big trading range, right? Sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low. We're looking to rotate now, right, up off of that low. What I just talked about on the S&P is exactly what we're looking for right here on the Nasdaq. As we go higher, strong move, shallow pullback, higher high, trap low, right? Something like that on the way up. As we go lower, strong move down, shallow pullback, lower low in price, trap high, right? As we rotate back and forth. Okay, now, the Nasdaq looks very much like a range is brewing here overnight. You know, it's always difficult to tell what will happen overnight, especially when we got the big news here for tomorrow. But let's say for now, I think one of the best trades for tomorrow is going to be a fake out breakout, right? Basically a bear trap off of that low. I want to talk about a couple scenarios here on this. So we have on both the S&P right now, we have a very strong run down, right? That rotation off the high. Now, it's not as likely in a range-bound market, but a lot of times, though, it'll roll lower, pull back, and retest that low, right? Anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a pull back, right, and a retest of that level. So if we were to make a run going lower here right now, how could I buy this? Well, first of all, it's a great location to be buying, right? Because there's a lot of support below us on the Nasdaq right now. I got 63 and a quarter. I get 15,021. A lot of support levels. You'll see that reference there on the 60-minute charts there as well. So as we're going lower, if we go lower, if we get lucky and go lower here overnight, that will really be a great one for us. Again, great location to be a buyer. But momentum, right? Momentum is a problem. Remember, we're not trying to pick tops and bottoms, right? At least I'm not, right? At least I'm not. Very difficult to make money picking tops and bottoms. So when I have all of this momentum, the likelihood of this market to keep on going lower is better than I want it to be. All right, it's not great, but it's a higher likelihood than I would like it to be. So long story short, what I need to do, or what I want to do in these situations is, rather than trying to buy off this low, I'm going to let the sellers kind of dig their own grave down here, right? Wrap that noose around their neck, whatever metaphor you want to use. And to do that, I use what's called the 2-try rule, okay? We talked earlier about going up, buyers once, buyers twice, and trap. We're going to look for the same basic crown reversal pattern as we go lower, right? I'm not going to pick the bottom, but if I can start seeing these bears come in and try to keep it going lower, remember, they're going to probably try twice down here. Try to keep it going lower twice, right? Now we've got bears committed. Now we know where their stops are, okay? We're going to use those stops to fuel this move back up into that trading range. Now, my favorite way to do this is to get just a little bit below the low of that first try going lower, get a nice strong signal candle closing above the moving average, and that's the signal for that run going higher. These will oftentimes, remember the pattern now? These will oftentimes punch up, strong move, shallow pullback, higher high in price, and you'll oftentimes get that easy bear trap off the low, and these oftentimes will come right off the low. See, watch me do this. Draw the channel off the high, bring it down off that low, right? And think about that as a new channel. That is a beautiful setup if we can get that reversal right off of the low. So think of these. I told you traps are probably where the money be made for tomorrow. What I love about traps too is they get you in nice and low. They almost build in that first profit target for you, as opposed to buying high, right? And all of a sudden you're susceptible to a pullback that threatens to stop you out on a shallow pullback there. Okay, so the key here is let them get down here. We're not going to pick the bottom. We're going to let those bears dig into this a little bit. Let them try a couple times. Then we start thinking about, okay, how can I hit those stops, right? How can I use those 2 tries right now to load the bears up and then bam, right, blast right into those stops. And then if we get lucky with this and it really starts to boom, right, and accelerate and squeeze going higher, now it's on, right? Now we know the bears are trapped, they're squeezed. We know now the buyers are probably hunting for swings, right, up overhead. The range itself is a magnet, and we simply go out now and we start finding trend lines off those highs, bring it down to that low. We go looking left and we start looking for really any of the entry patterns you guys are learning, right? It could be a trap like this one. It could be a failure setup. It could be a pullback combination. It could be a strength trade, right, going in off as we go higher here, obviously more aggressive as we go. That'll make a lot more sense if you guys are taking that free trading course. So that's the idea, right, as we go. Another variation of that, just so you know, if we were to get a real strong rundown, right, real strong rundown overnight, they may come in, pull back, and retest that low. If they do, it's even better. Okay, if they do, right? So, news may come out tomorrow morning. Something could happen overnight. I don't know, right? I'm simply going through some scenarios because making predictions is a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy. Nobody knows what's going to happen overnight or around the news. I would rather game plan different scenarios. That way I'm mentally prepared and ready to capitalize on these variations that we may get tomorrow. That way you have a whole arsenal of trades you can look for no matter what we get. Anyways, so if we do see a strong move down, anytime we see a strong move, it's a good chance, right? They're going to try to retest that low. If they retest that low, the count resets. Okay, in my video class, we talk about entry counting. When you retest that low, it resets. Same thing now, right? Now we trap the bears in. 1, 2. We talked about this, on Tuesday night. This was one of the best reversals we saw on Wednesday, yesterday. I know I was gone yesterday afternoon. Believe me, I would have rather been here with you guys than sit in the boring meeting I was in yesterday afternoon. But I know a lot of you guys made some pretty good money on that reversal I talked about on Tuesday night's video into Wednesday. But this is the same basic idea, right? We could be a lot more aggressive on that one because now, strong move, they retest the low, right? Rookies are going to sell right into that low. We can literally rope those bears in and look for that blast. And again, you guys know this, right? We blast up, strong move, shallow pullback. I think you guys are probably sick and tired of me saying this word, trap, by now, right? But that's the same idea, right? We pop up, channel high, channel low. Look at that first test, right? First test is the best test off that, right? It's a 2-try failure. Okay, it doesn't need to be much of a trap on that, because once they retest that low, now anyone who sold here, they're getting out. This is one of those scenarios. This setup right here is one of those scenarios we talk about a lot in these videos where everyone is a buyer, right? Everyone's a buyer. Why? Because buyers are buying low. The sellers who got short, they're taking profit. And the bears are trapped in, the rookies are trapped in, they're getting stopped out, they become buyers. Everyone is a buyer in this situation. That's why these work so well, right? Tough to lose money when everyone's a buyer in that. So that is a very good one. We talked about this in more detail on Tuesday night's video, and a lot of you guys did well on that on Wednesday. So that is a really nice bear trap into reversal going higher. The other variation I want to make you guys aware of is a breakout pullback. So for example, right, for example, let's say, for example, we go overnight, we chop around, we get news tomorrow, right? The market makes this big dump, right? This doesn't seem very likely, but who knows, right? Who knows? Whenever we see a real strong breakout of a trading range, the first thing you want to think of is start looking at those prior levels and look for a breakout pullback. All right, breakout pullback. Okay. Now remember, this has to be a very strong, a very convincing breakdown. Okay. And again, it doesn't seem likely, but who knows, right? Who knows? So if we end up getting some news breakouts tomorrow, right? This thing rips and runs lower. It's a bear market overall. So who knows, right? We now go, okay, that's the range. And what I do is I go looking left and go, okay, how about that level right there? Let's mark up that area. And then watch, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to draw a trend line off that low. I'm going to bring it up around those highs. And that kind of creates the sweet spot right there. I'm looking for that pullback and that retest of that low. So again, has to be a very convincing breakdown. All right. I always say convincing breakout, right? It's not enough to see it break down and make come right back up. It needs to break down, hold, and keep going, right? Hold and keep going. Okay. Once we see that breakdown that holds and keeps going, right? It'll kind of pop and go, right? Kind of grind down like that. Now we think about the underbelly of the range. It'll be like this whole area, right there. Okay. And then how do you time the entry? The entry is actually pretty easy. This would be a great spot for a failure into pullback combination. So strong pop, continues going lower. Okay, we look and go, okay, this area, this whole kind of area right there, right? The whole underbelly of that trading range, okay? We go out, we find that channel, off the low, off the high, and then what? We wait for that pullback. Okay, we get up into prior support becomes resistance, this whole area now. What will happen is this will usually be a very sharp pullback. So traps are usually not going to be the best entry up there. On a faster time frame, this will look very, very bullish as it pulls back, right? So oftentimes those traps, you're kind of stepping in front of a freight train on that. What I'd rather do is on this is get above the moving average, see if those buyers will come in and try to run it higher. They might be successful, right? Those kind of V bottoms can be very strong, and so they could be successful there. If they're not, though, if the buyers come in and try to buy that pullback now you got them. Right? Now you got them. Now you have a scenario where everyone's a seller, right? Everyone's a seller in this situation for a failure pattern, or if we're lucky here, a failure into pullback combination. The target's always easy. It's back to retest that low, right? And then remember, this could easily go lower, 1, 2, and bam, right back up again. Okay? So think about that. It's very simple, right? Breakout pullback. It's a breakout pullback. The key to this is we have to see a very convincing breakdown that, again, it'll pop and continue, right? Not just a strong leg down. If it's just one leg down, it's probably going to go back up into that trading range, all right? Has to pop and continue, right? It'll usually kind of pop and grind down, okay? Once you have that, now look left, that low, really all of these swings here, that becomes kind of the battle zone, if you will. And this is a matter of, now you can look for that crown reversal here, right? Pick that bottom, 1 try for the bears, 2 try for the bears, right? That crown reversal, if you were to zoom in on that area right there, right? That crown reversal off that low, you want to get that bear trap though, that trap low on that crown reversal to buy that low, because in this example, it's assumed to be a very strong run down. So picking a bottom can be difficult, right? So crown reversal to buy off the low, But again, the easier money would probably, though, that pull back off the channel high and then failure, pull back, retest the low. Who knows, right? If we get lucky tomorrow, we could see one of these, two of these, all three of these. We never know, right? My job is to take whatever the market gives us. All right, now we get the game plan all put together. I hope that wasn't too advanced for you back there. I try to keep things as simple as possible. I'm sure I forgot something. I'm sure I missed something. I'm sure the market will throw us a curveball at some point tomorrow, but that's exactly why we have a trade room. We're going to prep tonight, but tomorrow we'll trade this stuff together. I can't think of any better way to become consistently profitable and learn and trade along than do it with me every morning in our morning trade room. I'm going to put all the important links. I'll put the free course links, right? That's the best place to start. Grab the free classes, learn the strategy, start making some money out there, and then that way you're ready to go with our membership to our morning trade room where we kick it up a couple notches and we trade together every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. If you have questions or need help or have trouble, whatever the case may be, I'm always here standing by. Don't be afraid to email, call, use live chat as well. Again, there'll be no video newsletters next week. I hate to leave you guys hanging. Believe me, I would rather be here with you guys, but I'm excited though. I'm recording a whole new video series next week in the afternoons for all of our students at School of Trade. So we got some great updates, some very exciting stuff coming down the pipe here later on this month for all the SOT students. All right, guys. Hope you learned a bunch in the video here tonight. Hope you use this knowledge, this game plan to make a killing on Friday. Have a great rest of your evening. If we don't see you tomorrow in the trade room, we'll come back not on Monday night, on the 21st though, right? So we'll skip a week. We'll come back on August 21st. I'll miss you guys next week. So be well, be nice to each other out there, and you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.